Welcome to a Love Island Games recap, season 2, episode 15. It's gearing up. The Power Squad, which is Johnny, Gabby, Lucinda, Isaiah, Toby, Ty, and Andrea, meet. But Johnny tells Andrea, "You can't come. Like, go to Josh." Like, basically, it's over here. Um, Lucinda cannot keep Garby's name out of her mouth. But then, like, she'll talk about Garby. Oh, I think Garby's definitely yada yada, this, that. And then she'll go to Garby. Obviously, Kendall's just left and she's being all buddy buddy. Oh, you want to tell me who you're going to couple up with? Oh, really? And Garby's like, no, you're on the other side. Like, huh? Lucinda is, it's weird. It's weird. Josh and Zay are going back and forth a little bit, kind of because of the whole duel situation. And he's like, you're my boy. Like, what happened? And all these kind of things. And Zay's like, he's like upset about Zay teaming up with Ty, Johnny, and Toby. But it's kind of like, Zay was in the power squad, so he kind of had to go with them. I'm not saying he's going to stay with them, but he had to be with them because I'm in a power squad with them. Sorry, you lost, bro. I don't know what's going on there. Josh and Johnny are chatting in the bathroom, and Johnny's like, Toby and Ty are running this show, and they want me or you out. So I'm working with them for now, like basically to keep myself safe. And Josh is like, yeah, I get it. Like, whatever. Maybe the next challenge I'll go for one of them or whatever like that. See what I could do. But the next day, Toby, Ty, and Johnny, like, Johnny asked them straight up, like, are you gonna try to get Zay out, or are you gonna try to get me? Like, who do you want in the final? And they're like, I want the three of us in the final, and like they kind of like shake on that or kind of like agree that's what they're gonna do. But again, Toby and Ty are friends from home, like grew up together, like best friends. So of course they're locked in together. That's part of the frustrations with like Josh and Zay because they weren't childhood best friends, but they've known each other for several years. So it's kind of like I shouldn't have to say what it is because Isaiah was like, well, I wasn't really sure like where you were and stuff like that. Whatever. I don't know. Kind of okay. Toby and Tyreek talk in the sauna, and Toby's like, "Man, the games are getting towards the end here. I'm rocking with Sydney. Like, I really like her, whatever, but she's not for the games. I'm not sure if she's for the games. She says she's here to serve looks." And Toby and Ty is like, "Yeah, like you nice guys finish last, and you might finish last if you stay with her." And Toby is considering coupling up with Garby because obviously she's been competitive. She's won two duels, things like that. Like she's proved herself. Toby talks to Garby about this possibility, and Garby made me crack up. She said, "Men will leave you in the desert with no water," and she's just like, "What?" Garby talks to Casey, and they both say they'll couple up with each other, and she's like, "Okay, like good. I want to tell you though about what Toby just told me," and she says she's gonna tell Sydney about what Toby just said and kind of mess up that dynamic and like mess with them in the power squad. And she's like, also Casey's one of Kendall's good friends, so it's kind of like we're doing it for Kendall and yada yada whatever. Cause she's still thinking about Kendall, the girl. We get a text about Vegas night. And again, the boys kind of agreed, like, okay, we're going to go. Ty, Toby, and Johnny said we're going to go for Andrea and Josh tonight if we can. And we get a text saying this is the last chance to recouple. Now, on this, I'm like, okay, so nobody from Australia? Australia that's down the road? Y'all didn't get nobody from Australia this whole season? Yeah, Lucinda was on a season of Love Island Australia, but she's from the UK. Y'all, you couldn't get one Australia person at all? And the thing is, too, I realized, like, basically everyone in there was, like, there on day one almost. Like, we have 12 Islanders in total right now. Six of them are OGs. Johnny and Gabby came, like, episode 1 or 2. And then everyone else kind of knew. But there's only been, like, tell me if I'm wrong, there's only been, like, 6 people dumped, I feel like, this whole season. It's been Chris and KK, Kendall and Nicola, Mert and Solen. I don't think anyone else has been dumped. I'm like, dang. And I'm trying to remember how it was last season. Again, it's a 3-week show, so it's not a long show. And I don't fully remember how many people like came in or out, but it was kind of like, dang, they're. I mean, I know they had to wrap it up, but y'all can throw some more people in there. Anyway, Toby. Well, the boys get a text saying, "Last chance to recouple, boys. Go sit in the chair next to the girl who you want to recouple with." Nobody knows. Garby talks to Sydney and tells her about what Toby said, and Sydney's upset, like, wow, I can't believe this guy, like, F him, yada, whatever. She tells the girls, like, the snake is Toby. So the boys get this text saying, go sit by the girl you want to recouple with. Like, this is your final recoupling. Everyone goes out there, hugs the girl, kisses them, like, whatever, sits down with their partner. And Toby basically tries to, like, start hugging, say, hey, Garby, hugs her, sits on the chair. Casey is trying to like fight. It's basically fighting with Toby a little bit to get the chair. He lifts the chair up from her. They're going back and forth fighting over the chair. Toby sits in Garby's seat. Casey's sitting in like the boy seat, whatever. And Garby is like yells and is like, Toby, get out of the chair! Like, give me the chair! And you can tell Toby's upset, and he goes over and sits with Sydney because that's the only chair left. And again, he doesn't realize that Sydney knows this already, but he'd been fighting with Casey. I remember him and Casey already have had like confrontations and beef from Love Island All Stars. If you haven't watched that season one, they already had a little bit of history or whatever. But also, it's like I think Garby was young a little bit because one, like, I don't want you, and two, I don't. She said this to him, like, I don't want you. Why would you think I would go backstab my friend like that? That whole kind of thing. But they were literally fighting over the chair. And everyone's like watching, like, whoa, yeah, whatever, like, what's going on? And then Sydney's sitting there upset, and her and Toby and Sydney have a back and forth because Sydney's like, you're so embarrassing. And she's like, yada, yada, all these things, like, really upset about obviously, like, being embarrassed like that because, yeah, luckily she had a little bit of a heads up from Garby because she, even in the dressing room, was like, I don't want to couple up with him anymore. And they get a text saying, you've now chosen your final couples. And she's like, ugh, whatever. But she's upset because it's like you were like full on fighting for this freaking chair, and like you're so embarrassing and yada yada. And Toby's sitting there, he's like, you don't believe in yourself. And he's like, well, wow, I'm gonna sink the ship. We're gonna both go down together. Then and yada yada. He's upset, and it's like game plan's F. So like Ty is looking, Johnny's looking, and Gabby and Justin as well, and just like what's going on? Like this is not what we need right now. Yikes. But now we get into these games that's going to basically choose who's going to be vulnerable. Kind of in a sense similar to how it was in season one, where they were doing like it was a carnival that night, and I choose one couple to be vulnerable in a sense, like in each round. The first round is like you try to throw something into someone's bucket. Basically, you have to like aim. Sydney and Toby. Sydney doesn't want to talk to Toby, like, so they go off to the side. She like cries a little bit. He's trying to apologize. She's feeling upset, like doesn't want to like be involved, like is upset at him, whatever, like flicking him off, all types of things. Toby says we're gonna go for Garby and Casey, and Sydney didn't decide that one, but it kind of was like before they did it, Toby was like, do you want to change to someone else? And she doesn't say anything. And Garby is like, dang, like I gave her, I literally warned you, and now she's like going against me. And I got, like I said, Sydney she wasn't the one who chose. Like Toby was the one, like I tried to get your opinion, you wouldn't say anything. But it's kind of like, girl, like he gave you a chance to switch up. Like Garby just tried to like help you out here. So that's round one, and then they had 3 balls. So if the first ball goes to Garby and Casey, and 2 and 3 they decide to change because Toby's like, okay, I see you like didn't want that. So they go for Andrea and Josh next 2 times. Lucinda and Isaiah go for Garby and Casey all 3 times. Garby and Casey go for Sydney and Toby, though they do lose 1 ball, so they'll get 2 in there. Andrea and Josh go for Sydney and Toby all 3 balls. Gabby and Johnny go for Garby and Casey all 3 balls, and Justine and Ty go for Garby and Casey all 3 balls. So Garby and Casey have the most like balls in their thing, and they are now vulnerable. The second round, Garby and Casey are no longer eligible for like vulnerability. You have to pick someone else, and at shuffleboard, like you throw the thing to see how many, and based on that, how many points you get. Similar to last year, like putting a pie in someone's face, because it's like you get 2 points, you get 2 drinks that you throw in someone's face, almost like votes for vulnerability. Garby and Casey get 2 drinks to Sydney and Toby. Andrea and Josh, 2 drinks, 1 drink to Sydney and Toby. Lucinda and Isaiah, 2 drinks to Gabby and Johnny. Gabby and Johnny, 2 drinks to Andrea and Josh. Justine and Ty go for Andrea and Josh for 2 drinks. When they do that, Josh is like, thanks, Justine. You just do whatever he says, huh? That's what it looks like. And Tyreek's like, I thought Tyreek after they throw the drinks on them, he's like, I thought you, Josh, you'd want to see Kendall and Chris. And Josh is like, well, why'd you say that? I've always said I want to be here. He's like, well, it's time you go see him. Like, and on Sydney and Toby go last, and they do 1 drink for Andrea and Josh. So Andrea and Josh have the most, and they're now vulnerable. Josh is still kind of going on about like people with the game plan, and like you're gonna see what happens, and like when you guys yada yada, and you guys, it's so predictable. And Ty's like, why are you acting surprised though? And he's like defending his actions. He's like, yeah, but like Johnny's been with me since day one. He's been loyal to me. Like I made him a promise. Like, so it's just what it is, man. Like, so he stands in it. What he does. He's not shying away from it. And the final round is like Joker. It's like you draw cards, and how many cards you have, you score points. Like if you draw 4 cards, you can you have 4 votes against someone. But if you draw the Joker, it completely wipes out your cards and you have no votes. So Garby and Casey and Andrea and Josh are no longer options for vulnerability. Garby and Casey get 4 cards and votes. They vote them all for Sydney and Toby. Sydney and Toby draw the Joker on the first try, so they have no votes. Andrea and Josh have 4 votes. All of them go to Sydney and Toby. Justine and Ty, actually, I'm going to skip them first. Gabby and Johnny draw the Joker on the first try and have no votes. Lucinda and Isaiah have 5 votes, which is the maximum they allowed, and they vote for Gabby and Johnny all 5 times. Justine and Ty have 4 votes. They give 1 to Lucinda and Isaiah, and then they do Gabby and Johnny for 3 votes. And Ty says, I thought let's do a tiebreaker, because that 3 votes to Gabby and Johnny gave 8 votes to Sydney and Toby and 8 votes to Gabby and Johnny. And right away you can tell Toby's like, wait, what? Like, how are you gonna? Why would you do that? You could have had Johnny be the one most vulnerable. Like, why would you put me at risk? The tiebreaker is like whoever draws the highest card wins and like is not vulnerable. Sydney and Toby draw 7, and Gabby and Johnny draw 6. So Gabby and Johnny are the vulnerable couple. And my thing, so the vulnerable couples that we have now are Casey and Garby and Casey, Andre and Josh, and Gabby and Johnny. Why does Lucinda keep escaping the votes, the vulnerability, whatever? Oh my gosh, I want her gone. Not even because of like all the Garby, like she's always bringing up Garby. Like even in the game, she's like, Garby's giving me side eye, yada yada. And not even all that, but I just want her gone. Like I actually am just like, it's enough. And she keeps escaping the votes or the vulnerability, even if it's not us voting. It's just like bothering me. Ariana comes in and they're talking about like the kind of past 3 rounds, people who were vulnerable, whatever. And Johnny's like, Isaiah, you made your bed, buddy. Lucinda's like, well, I don't want you to say that. It's not right, because like I didn't want to vote against Ty and Toby. They're my good friends from home, yada yada. And Toby's talking to Ty now. He's like, I just want to say, like, if I was in your shoes, like I would never like put a gamble on the tiebreaker. Like I could have been the one in Sydney to be vulnerable. Like if it didn't go our way, like I wouldn't have gambled on it, because again, they're childhood best friends. So it is kind of like whatever. Ariana says someone is going home tonight of the vulnerable couples. So that's like, get up here. You spin the wheel and it has the names of the not vulnerable couples on it. Whoever's name it lands on is who will decide who goes home. Again, similar to season 1, Justine and Jack ended up having to choose who went home. They ended up choosing Amani and Ray. Everyone had like a stuffed animal, and Justine and Jack happened to have the one with like, I think it was like a gold heart, which is the gold heart was like, you choose who gets dumped. So it's like kind of random in that sense. But they say you could either choose to spin the wheel with the Islanders' names on it and keep it up to them and see what they decide. And the people who are safe for Lucinda, Isaiah, Tyreek, and Justine and Ty, and Sydney and Toby. So you can either choose to spin and have them choose, or you could try to do a gamble and go 50-50. If you land on red, you're safe. You land on white, you're out. And you leave immediately. So essentially, if someone were to do that 50-50 gamble, and if they were to get out immediately, the 2 couples are automatically safe. If they did the 50-50 and they were safe, the 2 couples are still vulnerable, and it's like between them 2. Gabby and Johnny and Andrea and Josh choose to have the couples vote. Now, it is kind of smart, especially for Gabby and Johnny, to have the couples vote, because you have Ty and Toby both safe, and both of them are probably going to be trying to keep you safe as well. Like they would go for someone else, so you have like better odds. Andrea and Josh probably realized that more people are probably going to go for Garby and Casey, so like I could do that, and like Isaiah probably would keep me safe and like whatever. So it's kind of better maybe in that sense. And then Garby and Casey say, we're going to gamble, let's go 50-50, let's spin the wheel and see what we land on. And that's where we end with the cliffhanger. Like the ball is rolling in the thing and we don't know where it's going to end. And that's just crazy work to me though, because it's like, I don't know where this ball's going to go. Like this is crazy. And we're going to see what happens. It looks like there's a vote tomorrow. I was worried because I was watching this a little bit late that I missed like a vote for tonight, but no, the vote is tomorrow, is in Friday, October 3rd. And probably I assume the finale's like on Tuesday, maybe sooner. But yeah, that's where we're at. I've also seen some people say, like, oh, if you guys think Justine is just going along with Tyreek, you don't know her game. And that really is, I'm going to say on that. Like, my girl Justine knows what she's doing. I'm not worried about her. I'm happy she's safe for tonight. We'll see what happens tomorrow with what else they got up their sleeves. But good episode.